Hi, Tim Sales here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about that 99% can't do network marketing, okay? That's what somebody commented. So the specific quote was 99% can't get even one paid member in their network. And went on, and this is what I covered in the last video. So MLM, it's nice fairy tale, which is never worked and never will. All right, let's jump into this. So I have a question. So if someone can't do fractions, is it because of math? I'm not being facetious, really, truly, all right? I just want you to just think about anything. Is it, if somebody can't catch a fish, is it because of the fish? Right? Like, doesn't make any sense. You can't go that way with it. Or it doesn't do you any good to do that. Okay, so is it because of math? Is it because of the book? Is it because of the teacher? Is it because of the school? Is it because of the whole education system? Like, if someone can't, then that someone is the one who needs to know the fractions. You get the idea. Like, I know this is sounding a little off, like it's kind of missing the point, but no, it's dead on the point. Just a lot of people don't look at it this way. So the one person who must know it is the person who has to figure it out. It's nice to say because. So you're assigning cause to somewhere else. It's called an excuse also. So it's because of math. It's because of the whole industry of network marketing. It's because my upline. It's because the product's too expensive. It's because whatever that is, cause, whatever you're pushing it to, you can never solve it because you got an excuse. And if you have an excuse, you can't have success. You can have one or the other, but you can't have both. So there is no value in blaming anything. Okay, so there's nothing unknowable, and when you really realize that, it utterly will set you free. Okay, and so it is almost like to one of those degrees. To the degree that you realize nothing's unknowable, the more able you can become, right? It's really incredible. So, obviously, what is it that you need to know? Well, people who will do this, network marketing works for. People who won't do this can't succeed. There's no such thing as this right here. There's no such thing as can't. It's not a can't there. It's a won't. And so whenever you look or you hear somebody talking about a statistic, and they create this big, huge, giant picture of the whole network marketing industry. And what always baffles me about the way that they will look at it is, in whatever, 50%, 99%, or 100%, I don't care what their number is, they're looking at this big, huge thing instead of like going all the way down into the one thing, like what's the basic unit of the thing? Does that work, right? And so is it possible that if out of a company 10,000 do, how can you say can't? If you can look around and see a room full of people and ask the question, where did they come from? How did people get them? Then it can. So the way every single person in any network marketing company got there was at least one person generated a lead, contacted the lead, set an appointment, did a presentation, or showed a video, or put them in front of somebody else, or put them on a webinar, whatever it is, followed up with that person. Sometimes you don't have to follow up. Sometimes they just join right then, or they just buy the product right then. and that gives you a customer that you get to serve so that you can make money, or it gives you a rep that you get to train them to do this, and then you can make money. My downline's not doing anything. Welcome. This is what you've not trained them. Okay? So if somebody blames anything, they basically have blocked their ability to become resourceful. As soon as you have the word can't somewhere, or I couldn't because, that's the end of your resourcefulness, right? It just like shuts down everything inside. So hope my son doesn't mind me showing this. But so what is it that creates drive? In other words, in order to do this, a person has to have initiative. They have to say, I want, I will learn this, or I will do this. Okay, so what does that take? Well, it's desire plus incentive. Okay, so that's kind of what drives capitalism, is incentive based. So do I get something for working hard? And if you don't think that you're going to get anything, then you won't work hard. So desire plus initiative is what creates drive. And there's a real problem in a couple of places. Number one is that if a person is used to having a boss, and that boss, if somebody shows up late or doesn't produce whatever it is that they're supposed to be producing, if they don't, then what do they get? They typically get a threat, or there's a known threat, which is, I don't get paid anymore. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get have to go. I don't know. In the military, it was you had to go see the master at arms, and that was never a nice thing. And then they write you up, and then you go to captain's mass, and then pretty soon they take a stripe off of you. So they took money away from you, and then they kept on going until they kicked you out. So it's difficult for some people to do something when they don't have to. And a lot of times it's based upon that. And there's a lot of times when it happens because parents didn't transition their children into being taken care of to, you got to do it too. You got to do it for yourself. You've got to now have your own motivation to put the video game down. You know what I mean? And so, this little guy right here, first of all, I got to tell you that every time he says the word can't, he has to give me 5 burpees. All right? Because I just want that vocabulary out of his head, because it shuts off everything. And he does it with a very high-spirited, he's like, oh, no. And he hops down, he pops out 5 burpees, all right? But the reason I showed you this picture, very sad look. So this happened last weekend. He was in a jiu-jitsu tournament, okay? And he won the first one. He went against the championship and for the championship, and he lost. All right? And that was the look when he came off the stage, or came off the mat. And I had to take a picture of it because he had a lot of excuses. He was like, the guy twisted my arm. The guy did this and the guy did that. And I go, what's really bothering you? And he goes, and he teared up. And I teared up. And he said, I want the katana. And I just lost it. All right? And he knew he lost. And he was looking for an excuse to blame it on. And he was saying, the guy, he twisted my arm. And he had me around the throat and all kinds of stuff, right? That's what jiu-jitsu is about, right? And so, when I finally got him, he admitted it, then he can break out of blaming it on something else. And then on the way home, he initiated that he needed to get better that he needed to get stronger. He needed to learn better techniques. And he said, Dad, did you record that video? Or did you record my match? And I said, I did, some of it. A lot of it is over here while I was watching, but yeah. And he goes, because I want to see how that guy beat me. You see, that is that desire. That is that initiative. That is what triggers, is when you want something. Okay, so when you get an incentive, that thing, it drives you to want to get better, to get to there. And so as it relates to the pipeline, when somebody realizes that they're not getting it, it's easy to look and go inside and have self-doubt. It's so easy to go and blame it, just like my son Tristan tried to do. He tried to blame it that the guy twisted his arm, that the guy hit his chin, or his right here. Okay, so it's swollen and it's red. All right, he tried to blame that was the reason, but I knew it wasn't. Okay, I've been through this way too many times. So when a person gets frustrated in here, then keep going in here. If your upline can't help that, figure it out anyway. It doesn't, like if you say, well, my upline didn't train me, you're the one. You're the one that wants to make the money. It's your responsibility to go find how to transition from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, how to refine it and get better and better and better. Record every single one of your phone calls. Record all of your Zoom calls so you can go back and say, what happened there? What did I do wrong? Oh my gosh, I didn't listen well enough. I was too busy talking, right? Like something. Okay? So that's how you get better and better at that. All right. So one more, Tristan, is that he doesn't have his gi on here. Mom forgot my gi and water. Okay, so he didn't have his gi, and so I said, "Who needs the gi and water?" And he goes, "I do." And I go, "Okay, then whose responsibility is it?" And so that's the no value in blaming. So I said, "So what are we going to do now?" And he goes, "I don't know." I said, well, figure it out. How could you possibly make sure that you have gi and water when you're at jiu-jitsu? And then finally he said, well, maybe I can put it in the car in the morning. And I said, now that would be a really good idea. You see, that is what I'm trying to do with my children, is to move them out of depending on it. Mom didn't make me a shake, or mom didn't, well, let's learn how to do that. You see, that's the only way any of this solves. And so I hope you appreciated the extra that I did on that, because I believe that it's one of the most important training points. And I like to get a hold of somebody when I'm talking to them from a prospect's standpoint. I like to try to figure out, like, do they have that excuse manufacturing machine? Because once they turn it on, man, it's impressive. It's a worthy adversary. So much so that I won't sponsor somebody who has an excuse as to why they failed. All right, unless they're blaming it on that they didn't learn, or that they didn't do a particular thing that they didn't, not their upline, not their company, whatever. Okay. So comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you've experienced a very similar thing in your organization, maybe even for yourself, right? Because that's ideally what I'm trying to do, but also training you how to train. And so also, if you haven't subscribed, you might consider doing so.